Welcome to Virtualize Everything. As you can probably guess from the background, we're looking at another Parrot install today. This time, instead of installing Parrot Security, we're going to look at installing Parrot Home. The first thing we're going to need to do, just like if we were installing Parrot Security, is head over to the download page by clicking download. But this time, the Security Edition shows up first, like it did last time. But this time, we're going to go ahead and click Home Edition, and we're going to basically repeat the same steps we took for downloading the Security Edition, but let's go ahead and go through them so I can show them to you in case you didn't see the Parrot Security Edition video. So the first thing we're going to need to do is click on the download dropdown, hover over the ISO AMD64, right click on it, copy link address, then head to Proxmox, and we're going to head to the local page or the local storage drive. We'll select ISO images, and then we're going to select download from URL. We're going to go ahead and paste in that URL that we copied from the Parrot website, and we'll hit query URL. What query URL is going to do is it's going to look at the URL and it's going to extract the file name that Parrot intended for our ISO, and it'll fill it in for us. Then we're going to select hash algorithm, and we'll select SHA-512. Then we're going to jump back to the Parrot Security website, still on the Home Edition, and click Check Hashes. On the Check Hashes page, we'll scroll down so we find the SHA-512 for the Parrot Home, and we'll copy that hash. Then we'll head back to the Proxmox web interface and we'll paste that in for checksum. Now it's time to hit download, and it'll take a little while to download this file, but Proxmox will verify the file it downloads is correct using the hash sum that we provided for it. I'll be back with you when that happens. Now that we've gotten task OK, we know that our hash is checked out correctly, and we're able to move on with the next step. So let's go ahead, close out this window, and start creating our VM. To create our VM, we're going to head up to Create VM, and we're going to give it a name. I'm going to call mine Parrot Home today. Pressing Next, we're going to leave our guest OS as Linux, and our image or ISO file is going to be stored in the local drive where we downloaded it to. So we just need to select our ISO image in this dropdown. We'll do so, and it should be the Parrot-Home. And if you're at the same point in time as me, it'll be 6.0. Fear not if it's not later. This tutorial may be a little bit different, but you should be able to follow most of the steps here. Pressing Next, we're going to check System Guest Agent or QEMU Guest Agent, and we'll leave everything else blank. For disks, we need at least 20 gigs, I believe, and we can check that here under Home Edition. So it's a little bit less for the Home Edition. It's only 16 gigs, but it's still 1 gig of RAM, no graphical acceleration, and 2 CPU cores. Heading back to our web interface, I'm going to go ahead and beef up some of what is provided to us provided to the operating system because I have some intentions with this install later on. So I'm going to give this 100 gigs. I don't have an SSD, so I'm not going to check discard. And I'm also not going to use any of this stuff provided for us in the advanced section at this time. I'm going to hit next. We only need to give it 2 cores, but today I'm going to give this 4 cores as I'm looking for a little bit of performance later on. And the CPU type, I like to choose host, and I'm going to choose host today. But you may, depending on your scenario, if you're running a cluster or other things, want to leave the CPU type alone. Now I'm hitting next, and for memory, I'm going to give it 8 gigs, so 8192, and I'll leave the minimum memory the same in this scenario. Hitting next, we can use the VirtIO Ethernet drivers. I'm going to change the bridge. This is only for my network and my network configurations. Leave your bridge alone or configure it via your needs. Hitting next, we're asked to confirm all of our settings, and we're good, so we'll hit finish, and Proxmox is going to make our VM. Our VM has been created at this time, so we can go ahead, hit start and console, and it'll ask you for a try and install. We can hit enter. Now Parrot Home is loaded, so it's time to install it. We'll install it by clicking Install Parrot right here and follow the guided directions. We're going to use English, so we'll press next. Our location is New York, so next. Keyboard is going to be default, so next. Partitions, we're going to use 1, so we'll erase, press next. Our system information, and we're going to hit. We'll choose login automatically. This is a personal setting for this VM. It may not be what you want to do for your system. Summary allows us to verify everything's set correctly, and install now will start the installation of Parrot. I'll be back with you when this is finished to show you the next steps. Alrighty, so the installation process is finished, and Parrot OS Home Edition would like us to restart. So let's go ahead and click done with the restart now button checked and see what happens. We'll log in with the password we set up during the installation. And here we have a fully working installed version of Parrot Home. Now, one of the things I want to draw your attention to, because it can be fixed pretty easily, is the lagging cursor behind the mouse. Let's take a look at what we have to do to fix that here in Proxmox here in 2024. So the first thing we're going to do is click on menu, and we're going to click on the shutdown and shut this system down. Now we'll close out our console window and we'll select our VM, head over to hardware, and under display, we're going to hit edit. And we're going to come down here and we're going to select the VirtIO GPU. Now, what this is a virtual GPU processing pass-through using the VirtIO drivers. Now, if we look at Proxmox documentation for this, we can see that the last update was August 28th. Now, I'm not entirely sure if that was just an update to the documentation and these drivers existed before, or if this is a new feature that was added on August 28th. But nonetheless, it is available to us now. So let's go ahead and try it out by hitting OK and start. Now, when we click console, we're going to notice that it wants to download a Spice configuration file. Unfortunately, I'm here on a Mac and I'm going to be unable to use Spice without compiling it myself using Homebrew, and I don't wish to do that. But if you're on a Windows or a Linux system, you could go ahead and use Spice. Myself, I'm hitting cancel, and I'm going to hit the drop down, and I'm going to select no VNC. This will bring us back to the same general user experience that we're used to, and we'll go ahead and log in. But now when we move our mouse around, you can see there's almost no lag of the two cursors between the systems. We're able to now graphically accelerate graphics processing inside of a Proxmox VM, and in this case, Parrot Home. Let's go ahead and do the updates to this system. So to update Parrot Home, we're going to use sudo apt update, and we'll string it together with a sudo apt upgrade, and we'll add our -y and give it our password. Now, as this updates, I'll move our display aside, and I'm going to head to summary, and I'm going to show you that we are indeed getting a IP address, so there's no need to install QEMU guest agent on this system because it's already pre-configured with the installation. I'll be back with you when these updates are finished. So our updates are finished. Let's finally take a look at LSPCI and see if we can indeed see the graphics card here. So I'll issue the command LSPCI, and indeed we can see the VGA controller right here. So I hope you enjoyed this video. You found out how to install Parrot OS Home Edition on Proxmox and pass through a virtual GPU from your Proxmox system to your VM. As always, if you found this video informational, please like, share, and subscribe to help virtualize everything grow. Have a good night.